Word of advice, give a wide berth to the governor's manor. Giatta's about to tear that poor man a new one. One of our animancers. She's bright as a spark, but a mite confrontational. She came storming up the hill with a wheelbarrow full of spoiled crops. Then the shouting started.
Animancers fighting? This I have to see.
This isn't the first time Giatta's put the governor in his place, but it might be the last. Look around. The town's overgrown, the crops are dying. What's not to fight about?
Just take a blessed day look outside. Doesn't take a genius to see this place is rolling downhill.
The governor's manor is on the far side of town. You can't miss it. Just follow the sound of foul language.
I was hoping to learn some local curses.
Looking forward to seeing what it looks like when animancers fight.
The Emperor's envoy. Come to interfere in Stilgarrote business again? Certainly not. Besides, I have no more business in Fior. If you're here to speak with Vidaro, I'm afraid you'll find the governor is quite beyond reason. These Valians and their love of animancy. While they theorize and do nothing, the sickness spreads. But worry not, envoy. The Stilgarrote will be ready to ensure the safety of Adiran interests when the time comes. We all have our part to play, envoy. Until later.
She's as subtle as a broadside.
Does subtle mean something different outside of Solace?
The Stilgarrote are never far. And all godlike. I've heard whispers that one of your kind was here in the Living Lands. It is a pleasure to meet you. In case it wasn't clear, I'm the point of contact for anyone with bounties to turn in. So return to me if you have any to claim. Officially, I'm one of the many researchers here. My specialty is in the anatomy of the many species of Eora. If you must know, Vulpinet, these bounties are more pressing than my research. Someone had to be chosen to man the board. That person happens to be me. At least some of these bounties result in interesting specimens to study. Diverus? You work fast. Impressive. I wonder if my theory about her is correct. Is that so? Huh, how fascinating. Here's hoping I get approved to study the flow of essence into the region's fauna after all this is done. You are clearly capable. Some time ago, a group of bounty hunters took a bounty off the board, but they still haven't returned. I fear they failed. They were to clear out the Zarips at the abandoned farms north of Fior. Perhaps you can look into this for me? I see. Then the other bounty hunters did not fare so well. I am glad at least to know of their fate. If only we could find a way to coexist with them. But I suppose it is in their nature to oppose innovation. Huh? Nature? Good. Outlaws living off the hard work of others deserve nothing less. Perfetto. Return when you have more to claim. Oh, those poor souls. Please bring them peace, Saimiko. Becoming part of a blight is not a fate I would wish upon my worst enemy.
Can I interest you in some glaveberries or Barrett's bells, perhaps? Welcome to Poria in Velino, the finest legitimate apothecary of Emerald Stair. 5 summers ago, business was thriving. But now charlatans are selling crystals and essence enlargers in the streets. Add rumors of Dreamscourge and everyone is buying from these swindlers. At least you've come in. Oh, I could, easily. But in the long run, where would that get me? I would be no better than them. I used to believe animancers would trust science, but I'm beginning to doubt that. At least I don't have to convince you. All ingredients are fully stocked.
else to get? What else to get?
Rejuvenate and revitalize your personal essence.
Oh, you startled me. This old woman can get lost in prayer from time to time. You must be the Adiran envoy I've been hearing about. Apologies for any hardships you may have experienced getting here. The failing crops, the strange beasts, and even the dream scourge are all the result of our neglect of the dead. I was calling on the spirits of the recently dead to follow the guidance of Bareth, god of death. I am asking the spirits to forgive us for our negligence and continue on their way without anger. The dead of Fior expect certain rituals to be carried out. I have failed to perform those rituals, and now the spirits are angry. That's exactly it! Well done! I have always observed it, and I brought it with me when I came to Fior. Our recent dead require a final meal to ease their passage from life. Without it, they can't rejoin the cycle.
You've got people waiting in line for their next meal, and you want to waste food on the dead?
I got food from the grain merchant stores. I just need someone to leave it at the graves. The dead will take it from there.
Flesh and bone. They bring the fruit to those who cannot eat. What tree calls for its branches to endure these rituals?
The ritual heals all. The spirits get one more taste of life, and the living get to offer one last gift to the dead. I did, yes. With things the way they are, there was no other way to get what I need for the ritual. If I didn't think this was important, I wouldn't have taken the food. But this ritual is the key to everything. I know Elena would understand how important it is to pay tribute to the dead. I believe it will change everything for the better. I believe it with all my heart. The crops will grow again. The dream scourge will end. All will be well once more. You must take these offerings of food and place them at 3 grave sites where the recently dead lay. The first offering goes to a cliffside grave on the southern coast. Loggers from the old days, they sacrificed themselves to make the land habitable and lost their lives to creatures of the untamed forest. The second offering goes to a grave in the swamp, far to the west from here. They buried the bodies of settlers there, intrepid sorts that tried to tame the farther reaches of Emerald Stairs wilds. The final offering should be taken to the truffle farm east of Fior, where a family lost their lives to the encroaching wilds. Such a tragedy. A young family lost their lives there as the wilds encroached, swallowed before they could even flee. That is the least of my worries. But yes, bringing closure to the recent dead will finally allow me a good night's sleep. I can't thank you enough for helping to ease the conscience of an old lady. Please, return when the rituals are complete.
Empty again.
Seems that way.
Vidaro says the current crop looks promising.
How can he know that? He's not a farmer.
Be patient. He hasn't steered us wrong before.
This will be so very useful back home.
I am not accustomed to failure.
Ugh, neither am I. But it happens to the best of us, no? They made up their minds before we even started. It's okay, we'll try again.
But it's the third time.
You know how it is. Their standards are impossible. It isn't personal.
Of course it's personal. It's the Animonsters workshop. I'm not sure our work is quite ready for peer review.
Maybe we need some feedback on our proposal.
Using essence to cure male flaccidity is uncharted territory. I'm sure of our thesis.
Our thoughts exactly. Our experiments have been very successful on animals and vegetation.
We treat this important issue with the utmost respect, even down to the proposal's title.
What do you think of this? Boning without bones, essence and the performativity of male anatomy.
Consider this. From stick to stone, using essence to augment male performance. That's brilliant, huh? Simply brilliant.
We've done it again.
Wait until they read this. The days of packing rope are at an end.
Giatta, what's the meaning of this?
Look at these crops. Look at your city. The Dream Scourge is laying waste to our home.
There is no Dream Scourge in Emerald Stair.
The land begs to differ, and I can prove it.
We can discuss this in private.
We are discussing it now.
Come on. My invention is guaranteed to enlarge your essence. A moment of your time, my friend. Tell me, what do you know about your soul? Wrong. Your soul is an ancient, wondrous thing, suffused with lifetimes of rich, delicious memory. But it's tired, my friend, heavy with the burden of generations and too weak to survive another turning of the wheel. That's the beauty of it. The first treatment's on the house. The moment you entered the city, I calibrated my invention to the highest setting and attuned it to your soul. So tell me, how do you feel? Better already, huh? Another skeptic? Oh well. I can see my talents are wasted here. No charge for the treatment. Best of luck with your soul. Don't listen to those charlatans in the workshop. The essence enlarger is 100% original.
Would you care for a refreshment? If you are looking for sanctuary, you have found it. The Gifted Magpie is a house of calm, rational discussion. We have only 2 rules of conduct. Maintain dignity and speak in a soft tone of voice. To put it gently, yes. Giatta Castel is giving our governor a piece of her mind, loud enough to rattle the windows. Animancers are miracle workers, but their work breeds obsession, rivalry, and bitter disagreement. Their anxiety keeps me in business. This tea house is where troubled minds come to approach problems from a quieter angle. Imagine what we could accomplish if more animancers took a little time to focus on themselves. Now, will there be anything else? Believe it or not, this building was once my father's grain warehouse. One day, a magpie landed on the rafters and spoke fluent Valian to anyone who would listen. Among other things, it told my father the recipe for a blueberry tart. Popular item until the recent troubles. Helia is the goddess of birds and creativity. Yes, the spiritual significance of a talking magpie is debatable. But the tale inspired others to make this a haven of creativity. And so, here we are. Who knows? Either it flew away on bad business, or it was just a metaphor to begin with. A good story knows where to end itself. The bad ones all end in grief. What? I mean, I'm sorry. What? Could you possibly elaborate? Oh no, I mean, oh yes? It's just that these sorts of things happen to other people, but never me. I wouldn't even know where to start. I was afraid you were going to say that. It seems I need to gather my wits and figure out what to do next. I have no skill with romance, you see. Oh dear. Regrettably, we are out of tea. My stockpile is exhausted, and the harvest has not kept up with demand. We have other goods for sale, if you care to peruse them. Trinkets I have collected over the years. The fields have been unproductive of late, and what grows has not risen to our standard. I am hopeful that this is a temporary setback and not a sign of things to come.
Spirits are truly wonderful, powerful. Self-aware and reach with insight.
Insight, you say?
Indeed. The spirits have access to life.
Have you heard? Giatta's causing trouble at the governor's mansion again.
You must admit she has a point. We should do... something about the dream. Scourge. Not simply wait for it to pass.
Be careful with that kind of talk. The governor has... ears all over town.
Careful! We'll get thrown out of the pub!
We're already thrown.
Really? Huh.
I had one job. One job. Didn't even do that. Look out for her, Fidelio. How hard could that have been? Belena, you found her. I've been looking for my missing rangers for days. She was with a partner at Alaro. Did you see hide or hair of him?
Your rangers lost to the Dream Scourge. Nothing we could do.
The Dream Scourge? Here? Tell me you're joking. So it is. Gods, I saw these signs. I didn't want to believe them. They'd been acting sideways, more than just distracted from their work. I thought it was... well, I don't have to tell you twice. I was so wrong. I think I know the answer, but is either of them still alive? Merla, when she turns, Fior will panic. Where is she now? I don't know what to do. I can't hurt her, but I can't put Fior at risk. That won't do any good. Do you think poking around and severing her soul will save her life? Even so, if it's early days and Vidaro doesn't find out... all right. It goes against all my instincts, but we'll try it. Once. Here. You went to a lot of trouble. You ought to be paid for it. It's time for me to get out of here and actually do my job. I never thought... I just hope we're not making a mistake.
Godlike.
The crops ruined. All of it.
Well, I'll be a godlike in the bone and bore. Apologies for the ruckus outside. The animancers never know when to shut their mouths.
Mindless academics, the whole lot of them.
Our crop yield. The governor thinks we've just had a bad season, but the Coelici and the Giatta figure differently. They are the only animancers taking the Dream Scourge seriously. Try telling that to Vidaro and the Animancers. But the rest of us, we've all heard the rumors from outside. Animals gone mad, terrors stalking the wilderness day and night. Birds' bells, of course. If Emerald Stair runs out of food, we are in dire straits anyway. We've had crops fail before, but never food rations. The governor says it's just a temporary precaution, but I am not buying it. So, we ought to drink while we can. Agreed? Anything I can get you? What are you fixing to know? I opened the place after my brother cut me out of the family business years ago. I opened the Bone and Boar for all the customers he found undesirable. The rough types. In a word, tea. My parents were the first owners of the gifted magpie. Mom was an animancer, and the pa wasn't. They fought constantly. Because of that, my brother Hector hates conflict. It's ruined the magpie's business. I've tried many times to talk sense into that head of his, but Hector, he's stubborn. Visit the magpie and talk to him. You'll see what I mean. Now, is there anything else I can get you? Welcome back, envoy.
You ever think, what if I wasn't a ranger?
Of course. What would you do?
Be a flower picker. Maybe a cow herder.
Oh, I know. A rum thrower. Be a rum thrower.
But I'd make no money.
And why not?
Because we drink it all.
Ado, welcome to my fine establishment. Well, I was not expecting such an esteemed guest in my humble workshop. Are you in need of any weapons or armor? The roads haven't been safe as of late. Is that Gelard? This is star metal. Very rare stuff. Where did you get this? Nay, don't tell me. I'd be tempted to go looking for some more, and that would certainly not end well. No. Unfortunately, I don't know how to work the metal into anything useful. Only enchanted. I did receive a shipment from Sola's Keep recently, however. A mace crafted out of star metal, brought to me by a trader from Galawain's Tusks. I suggest you make your way there if you're looking for someone to work that beautiful metal into a proper weapon.
Galawain's tusks? Come on, it can't be that complicated. I bet you 5 skates a Smith and Thirdborn would know what to do with this stuff. And I'll take your money eventually.
Is there anything else I can help you with, amico? Nay, not really. But not all of us in Fior are animancers, you know. Besides humble craftsmen such as myself, we have the rangers to outfit. Under normal circumstances, I'd not sell to a traveler like yourself. But as I'm sure you've seen, these are not normal circumstances. Care to see what I have? Officially no, but I have been known to dabble with essence infusion here and there. I have one such item for sale, actually. A beautiful mace made of star metal, crafted by the finest smiths of Solace Keep and enchanted by yours truly. It is a wonder to behold. Care to see? Welcome to my fine establishment, amico.
Founded machine.
What do you think of Giatta's theory?
Well, my experiments have been a little...
unpredictable. Like the essence has no sense of direction. How did you know? We should talk.
Excuse me, but I'm a tad busy.
The Adre is healthy. It's the essence I'm concerned about.
This again. You're beginning to sound like Giatta.
Have you ever stopped and listened to her? She might be onto something.
I'm sure her mother and father were onto something, and look what happened to them.
I have to do something. I can't let anyone else discover this. Ah, Envoy. I'm sorry. I'm not in a place to talk right now. I'm not concerned with that. Not now. Yesterday, I made an incredible discovery. We can use half as much Adra to achieve the same results. And then I thought, what if one day it's a third, a quarter, a speck? With no consequences, our ambitions will run unchecked. It's too much power. Who knows what kind of chaos we'll create? I have been reading Athelmir's treatise on Wotica. Perhaps she's right. Maybe Animancy should be reined in. How can I? All right. I'll do some more tests and see where they lead me. But I won't publish anything until I'm absolutely sure. I hope I'm right. I shudder to think what will happen if I'm not.
Excuse me, but I'm a tad busy.
Ado, welcome to my fine establishment.
By tradition, the governor's manor is open to the public.
How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike? In that case, you're right on time.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion.
Did you hear that, Ignacy? You should be taking notes.
Ah, of course. The Adiran envoy. Ambassador Hilgard sent a missive telling me to expect you. How delightful. You speak with a measure of authority, but I caution you to remember who's in charge around here.
Now that's what I call a first impression. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ha! Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now, our farms. Then there's no time to waste arguing with bureaucrats.
I like her already.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the Dream Scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did.
They do. And that's the kind of reckless behavior I'm trying to avoid.
Reckless is all we have time for. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Giatta from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. You must be unfamiliar with animancy. There's always collateral damage. Are you going to tell him about your family's basement? Or should I?
How dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the Dream Scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart. Really? Unexpected from an Adiran. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Giatta.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior. And you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Giatta Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Iverno.
Whoa, you're banishing her for that?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Giatta is an outcast.
It's a bit too soon to tell.
Governor, this is unacceptable. Your father would have kept this community together at any cost.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Iverno. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house, due west, by the workshop.
Another mouth to feed. Maybe we'll need to let Kai hunt more after all.
That did not go as I had planned.
What did you think would happen when you confronted him so?
Well, my first idea was to mess up his house. Maybe break a window or two.
Perhaps I should thank you for showing restraint.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giatta, some manners, if you please.
I thought she was being polite.
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego. What does he know? He isn't even an animancer.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fior, Miss Iverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone. So am I. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want. On my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long. I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adiran envoy here. You've got a lot of guts showing your face in a town full of animancers. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days. Wouldn't that be a coincidence? I only bring it up because Animancy might offer us some insight into your nature. Keep an open mind. While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by... I just realized this is the end. I have to leave Fior, Miss Iverno. Forever.
Some people don't find out who they really are until they leave home.
You'll be all right. My advice, find a good tavern and learn how to prepare squirrel over an open flame.
Maybe if I focus on what I have gained, I can learn to accept everything I've lost. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, we haven't been allowed to acknowledge the problem, much less act on a solution. Today, that changes. I need help from the animancers around town, but as you can see, I'm an outcast. Glad to hear it. Your education should come in handy. Manto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy, our philosophers. You'll find them at the docks, southeast of Fior. Each of them owes me a favor. Drop my name and they'll tell you what they know about the Dream Scourge. I'd rather not speculate until we have more data. If you have questions, I'm sure the others can answer them. We're about to make history. But first, research.
Guessing she's not much of a hunter. Might want to get extra rations next time we go shopping.
Godlike, Imperial Envoy, Research Assistant. Who knew?
starved. Deep down.
What did you ever find? You did not.
I surely did. Want to hear one? Rocco, you are not lazy. You make me crazy. Your eyes are
Oh, I heard there was a new arrival, but I didn't expect a godlike. Welcome to our modest workshop. Well, maybe to you, but I was educated in the great laboratories of Spirento, in the halls of experimentation. But you didn't journey all this way to hear me reminisce about the old country. What a question! If I were to answer in full, we'd be here for several decades. In short, we Animancers study essence, soul matter, if you will. Nearly everything has some essence, including you and I. Here in Emerald Stair, we use essence to enhance the crops, power our machines, even animate corpses. That is a preliminary explanation, but one that should serve, I hope. More than most, but less than I would like. Unfortunately, I cannot do a lick of research while my equipment is underpowered and overworked. Ha! A novel idea, that. What I need is a stronger power source. Grimoires can hold intense power, but not for long. Besides, grimoires require a wizard to draw in essence. It's too dangerous at this scale. Oh, wait. One of our rangers reported that an Adragon recently died in a western grove. Indeed, but that well is almost dry. I need more. An Adragon's heart can hold an immense amount of essence. The grove is to the west, across the chasm. You can't miss it. The rangers say a Delamgan queen holds court there. You may be able to retrieve it without violence, but most Delamgan in these parts are hostile to Keith. So you can understand why none of us went rushing over there to find it when we heard the Adragon had died. Still, Delamgan queens can be reasoned with, so if you want to get the heart peacefully, try not to kill her guards. Do be careful. Emerald Stair is not itself these days.
If you can convince her to hand it over, I'll be more than impressed.
Welcome to my fine establishment.
I still can't believe it. Dorso was betraying her brothers-in-arms, all in the name of saving Emerald Stair. At least she got what was coming to her. I agree. It's just sobering to think she got to the point where murdering her own felt right. How do you keep yourself on the right path, especially when there's so much at stake? Maybe. But I've seen better soldiers than Dorso cross lines you can't come back from. I saw this in Rauatai's campaign in the Deadfire. You start out with purpose. You're fighting alongside your brothers and sisters, battling pirates and slavers, bringing civilization to a lawless, divided land. But then, you're breaking up villages, turning tribes against their rivals. It gets messy, fast. Easier said than done. Empires are hungry, Envoy, and they devour their own, too. Don't let your allegiances turn you into something you can't live with. And troubling. What was it she said? the steel garrote will ensure the safety of Adiran interests? They aren't going to make you any friends, that's for sure.
That Adiran spy mentioned a steel garrote operation, too.
Yeah, he did. Stay sharp. The storm's brewing. And better if we can find it before it finds us. Should I break out the booze? You've heard everything I have to say about our crew. What do you want to know? If you get up in the night, don't wander too far. You know, I've heard dueling is popular in the Valian republics. You wouldn't think a public argument could feel as brutal, but I'll be damned if Giatta didn't draw blood. No doubt. That's why I admire the resolve. Living Landers can be contrarian and combative. That's what sends a lot of us here in the first place. But it's still hard to swim against the tide with your own people, especially when it means getting them to face a hard truth. You seem to have turned out okay. You and Giatta, come to think of it. She knows who she is and what she believes. She's got more clarity and conviction than I had at her age.
She has more clarity than you have now.
Hey, I am a willing victim of my own delusions.
Sometimes that just makes it easier.
Hey, don't worry. We're talking about Giatta's situation.
Right. Like, what did you think I was talking about?
Anyway, this can't be an easy time for Giatta, but I'm glad to have her on our side. What's on your mind? Nudge me if you hear anything in the woods. These animancers don't agree on much, do they? You'd think arguing is a communal pastime. Only that they seem to love it. If you asked any two of them which way's north, you'd get 3 different answers. It's a wonder Fior stood this long. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you may be onto something. They're stuck between a crop blight, a skeptical governor, angry farmers, and about as hostile an environment as you can find. And half of them seem more interested in pursuing their personal projects than dealing with the blight. Say what you will about Rauatai, but the demands of surviving together on a storm-battered rock are the backbone of our society. I don't think Fior shares that, or anything like it. Night, envoy. Those dreams seem to be getting worse. How are you feeling? Shoot. Check your bedroll for fangworms.
Envoy? Well, that was interesting, right? The woman arguing about the crops failing? Standing up for what you believe against authority. I can respect that. Of course, my method would have been run away under the cover of night, never to return, but yeah, this works for her. I don't know. In my experience, it's always the snake you don't see that bites you. Anyway, there's clearly more going on here than a bunch of animancers sitting in dusty labs doing whatever they do all day. Beyond that, nah, I can't help you. Call me when you're back to facing real danger. Right, changing the subject. Pleasant dreams. Envoy? Right, changing the subject. Ask away. I think you know almost as much as I do. Not sure what else to tell you. Let's see. Less urgency for shelter here. You can find shrubs to block the wind or tree cover to protect from rain. There's also plenty of food around too, if you know where to look. Rule of thumb, if it's red, don't eat it. Or if it makes you itch. There's also just about any kind of game you can imagine. Just make sure whatever you catch doesn't have mushrooms growing out of its face. Oh, and be careful when you leave the roads. You never know when that deer you killed was some Delimgon's favorite pet. Right, changing the subject. You too.
The Adra stirs, a crackle of light in a withered field. The bars stifle us. We cannot recall when last we spoke. Hollow faces in a line. What has come of this place? A hand of generosity, or a gauntlet of steel. We feel them. They bend and hone the essence of the earth. They draw from our veins like a well. What are these rituals? Eons have passed. We do not recognize these strange machines. The harvest grows, the dead rise. What do they hope to achieve? Do they not trust us to tend? They build walls in their hearts. Why do they not share what they make? Adir sleeps across the sea. They are not troubled by the laws of Kith. What do you say? Fire that burns the forest feeds the soil with its ash. We have learned much. Dream of soaring wings in your repose.